Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the Daily Cricket Show with your host Ram, the Cricket Happening Show. This on a Sunday. As far as today's Cricket Happening Show is concerned, I'll be talking about that final day of the Test match, which ended. It was a very riveting affair, and finally, it was the Indian captain Virat Kohli in the company of Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja on his home ground, actually saving the match for India as they defied the Englishmen in the last hour to eke out a draw, or lest England were absolutely, I'm sure that, the difference was Virat Kohli, no doubt about it, and as expected, England actually declared the innings closed, and we saw that the ball was turning square when the Indians were batting, and that's what put them into trouble, chasing 310 runs. But India actually took up the gauntlet to chase the 310 runs, which was very good by Virat Kohli. He's an aggressive captain, as we all know, but he was the man who really stood there like a thorn for England and saw to it that India actually eked out a draw. So what a wonderful finish to the first Test match, even though it ended in a draw. It had all its share of excitement, one could say. As far as Australia and South Africa are concerned, South Africa would be definitely ruining the fact that rain came and played a big spoil sport on the second day at Hobart, and the play was called off in Hobart on the second day because of rain. And the third and fourth days, the forecast says that there's not going to be much rain, probably little rain. So nevertheless, South Africa will know that they have a chance here, and probably we might see some aggressive cricket coming in on the third day just to keep the match very interesting. And also tomorrow the Tri-Series starts. As you know, the Tri-Series in Zimbabwe is about to start. It's going to be played between West Indies, Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka. And Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka, as you know, Sri Lanka dumped Zimbabwe 2-0 in the Test series. Now they get on to a different battlefield altogether. It's the one-day internationals, and the one-day internationals is going to be played between. So the curtain raiser, or the first match of the Tri-Series kicks off tomorrow at the ground Harare, and this is between the hosts Zimbabwe, who are taking on Sri Lanka. So, but first, I will definitely be talking about the match on the final day, about the Test match, the first Test match, which ended in a draw of the Test series between India and England. So England actually resumed their score on a very commanding 114 for no loss, and Hasib Hamid, one was probably waiting to see whether Hasib Hamid could become the first player in English Test history, the youngest English player in English Test history to actually score a century. He would have created a mighty record there, but definitely Hasib Hamid, as I said, England have definitely found a sort of a solution as far as the opening slot for Cook is concerned, and Hasib Hamid looked good. I mean, he carried on, as you know. I mean, he has already shown that what a precocious talent he is, whether it is of the playing of the back foot, playing of the front foot. He's so clear. I mean, the way he actually approaches the ball, in the sense, the absolutely impeccable cricketing technique as he drops his wrist for the short delivery, harmlessly allows all the balls outside the off stump, and he also really gets his whole body in line of the ball, which is the proper technique. And it's really good to see that Hasib Hamid is a wonderful talent, and he was the first wicket to go yesterday after Mohammad Shami started off proceedings, and it was Amit Mishra, the right arm leg spinner, who has been struggling, I would say, in this first Test, but he picked up the wickets as probably there was some instructions for Hasib Hamid to go for the runs, as Hasib Hamid was gone cotton bowled by Amit Mishra for 82 with 7 fours and 1 6. So made it 180 for 1. And Joe Root did not last long, and this was the second scalp for Amit Mishra, as Joe Root was caught behind the bowling of Mishra for 4, which made it 192 for 2. and definitely one understood the game plan of England, and that is for them to really go really start really attacking the Indian bowlers, and one knows what was the game plan in Alistair Cook's mind. And as you know, at that particular time, I would say the ball was not really turning square, but definitely there was turn. Ravichandran Ashwin also probably changed his bowling action a bit, and we definitely saw that it was effective, but not in getting wickets, but at least in keeping the run flow down. So Alistair Cook was joined in by Ben Stokes, and Alistair Cook, well, as you know, he's such a wonderful cricketer, Alistair Cook. And you know what he did? There was a partnership from 192. This partnership added 68 runs before the declaration came, and Alistair Cook was confidence personified, and he went on in his own merry way as he scored 130, his 30th century for Alistair Cook. What an insatiable appetite that Alistair Cook has for runs. I mean, he has already amassed more than 10,000 runs, as you know. He still has probably 5 more years in Test cricket, and Alistair Cook played a wonderful innings. And not only did this, not only is his 30th century, but one thing to really note is that now Alistair Cook has the proud record of having the most number of centuries by a visiting batsman, a visiting team in India. And that itself is a proud record according to me. And Alistair Cook's score was 130 with 13 fours, and he was a victim of the bowling of Ashwin, and that was it. The England innings was declared with Ben Stokes remaining not out on 29 of as many balls with 5 fours, as England declared the innings closed at 260 for 3, thus setting India a target of 310 runs for victory. They had 2 sessions to do that so. Mohammad Shami, none for 29, Jadeja, none for 47, Ashwin, 1 for 63, Amit Mishra was the wicket taker, 13 overs, no maiden, 2 for 60. And Umesh Yadav, none for 47. Now, India, in their second leg, were given a target of 310 runs as they got in, and immediately India were in trouble in the second over itself, as Gautam Gambhir completed a very poor test match here, as Gautam Gambhir absolutely, Chris Wokes was the ball, Chris Wokes was the one who provided them the breakthrough, as he got the ball to jag away, and Gautam Gambhir trying to dab the delivery, giving catching practice to Joe Root in the slips as he was gone for a blob. So 0 for 1 India, as Cheteshwar Pujara came in and joined Murli Vijay. And then we definitely saw a sort of a partnership develop slowly, a very brief little partnership one could say, and we saw the spinners into action. And especially when we saw the spinners into action, what one really discerned is that when England were batting, it was the rough which was creating the problems. But when the Indians were batting, it was a different proposition altogether. It was more about the pitch starting to crack up and actually getting the ball started turning away at the center itself, and that is not a really good thing to happen. And India had to really guard. So Murli Vijay and Pujara decided that they are going to use their feet to the spinners, as Zafar Ansari, Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali were in operation. They decided that they would be using their feet, and that's what precisely did. Murli Vijay was leaving his crease and coming on twinkling feet and driving or lofting the spinners beautifully. At the other end, Cheteshwar Pujara was also doing briefly the same, as this partnership went on to add 47 runs for the second wicket. As that was happening, it was the next wicket to go was Cheteshwar Pujara. Now this was a ball which actually turned in, and Pujara trying to actually play a stroke at that was gone. LBW bowled Rashid for 18 with 2 fours, which made it 47 for 2. And as Virat Kohli, the Indian captain, came in and joined Murli Vijay and also played a few good strokes in the company of Vijay. And then Murli Vijay was a victim, as Adil Rashid As I said, he was the one who did very well in the first innings as well, the Indian first innings, and here he was in the second innings taking advantage of the turn that was being afforded by the pitch, as Murli Vijay was getting onto his forward prod there, as the ball took the inside edge of his bat and lobbed up, and Hasib Hamid at forward short leg making no mistake, as Murli Vijay was a goner for 31 of the bowling of Rashid, after Murli Vijay hit some very nice 6 nice boundaries in that very nice knock. 68 for 3 soon became 71 for 4, as Moeen Ali got through the defences of Ajinkya Rahane for 1, as Ajinkya Rahane was he was sort of a I would say it was more of a, like a half-cock effort from Ajinkya Rahane, and he fell a victim as the ball went on to go and hit the stumps, and Ajinkya Rahane was gone, and this was the time India were looking in some trouble with all the major batsmen gone, only Virat Kohli at the centre, and in walked in the man Ravichandran Ashwin, on whom India could always rely, as Ravichandran Ashwin definitely showed what he showed in the first innings, as he buckled down with Virat Kohli and knew how important this particular innings was. But Ashwin was not shy to play his strokes. He was nicely stroking the spinners for boundaries. At the other end, Virat Kohli really I mean, at times when any loose balls were served to him, it was really dispatched with effortless ease, as Ravichandran Ashwin joined him. And also one has to say that India were a bit lucky too. England once again, some catches were grassed. Joe Root grassing a catch, and then a cotton bowled opportunity going a begging by Stuart Broad when Murli Vijay and Pujara were at the crease, as Ravichandran Ashwin and Virat Kohli set about in repairing the damage. From 71 for 4, the score was pushed to 118, with the majority of the runs being scored by Ravichandran Ashwin, as he contributed 32 with 6 boundaries. And that was the time Ravichandran Ashwin fell, as he was caught by Joe Root of the bowling of Zafar Ansari for 32, which made it 118 for 5, and there was still a long way to go for India, probably one more hour to go. But the good thing for India was that the Indian captain Virat Kohli was at the crease, and Ravindra Jadeja came in. As you know, Ravindra Jadeja is the local homegrown boy from Saurashtra, so he came in and joined Virat Kohli. And Virat Kohli, well, he definitely changed his guard. He decided that now is the time for India to really not go for the victory, but definitely they have to draw the curtains on it and actually eke out a draw. And in the company, he got good company from Ravindra Jadeja, but Ravindra Jadeja, what one saw from him was the one. I mean, Virat Kohli had decided that he's going to really put the shutters down and just block the deliveries, which was good to see. He was really nicely dropping his wrists and playing the deliveries and seeing to it that he was skipping the ball all along the carpet. But Ravindra Jadeja was the one who really, I mean, he's a very good player of spin as well, as you know. But Ravindra Jadeja decided to play his strokes as that was going on from 118. In fact, before Ravindra Jadeja came, Riddhiman Saha was a victim, as Riddhiman Saha gave a return catch to Adil Rashid, who gleefully accepted it, and Riddhiman Saha was gone for 9 2 4s. And Virat Kohli, one would see at the non-striker's end, was absolutely annoyed with the dismissal. I mean, he was seeing the wickets fall, and he knew that there is a sort of a threat for India. But Ravindra Jadeja came in and he used his feet beautifully and hit some very nice boundaries. That was the confidence that Jadeja had, and Virat Kohli, as I said, was the one who was just staying at the crease, as this partnership went on. And India had a job to do. As I said, there was still one more hour to go, and but the good thing was that Virat Kohli, with his dexterity that he has, and in the company of Ravindra Jadeja, survived the 1 hour, even though England piled on a lot of pressure by getting the closing cordon, getting some closing fields, not allowing the boundaries, a lot of things they did, but to of no avail, as Virat Kohli and Jadeja, especially Virat Kohli, defied him well, and also Jadeja playing some nice strokes, as both defied the English bowlers to eke out a draw for India, as finally the match ended in a draw with India's score reading 172 for 6. But definitely India getting a bit of a scare in the 5-match series. But definitely finally it ended in a draw. But what a beginning to the first Test match of the series. It really shows that India and England in this series are going to be fighting a very a keen battle, no doubt about it. As far as the bowling was concerned, Broad had none for 8, Vokes 1 for 6. It was all about the spinners. Adil Rashid got 3 for 64, 1 for 47 for Moeen Ali, 1 for 40, 1 for Zafar Ansari, and Moeen Ali for his all-round exploits took away the man of the match. Well, so that is as far as the first Test match is concerned. So the first Test match is all over, and as I said, you couldn't have had a better beginning to the first Test match of the series here between England and India. So now the next thing that I'm going, as I said, the Hobart match on the second day was totally rained off, so I'm not going to speak anything about that. But definitely there is something in international cricket that's starting tomorrow, and that is the Tri-Series, which is going to be contested between Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka and the West Indies in Zimbabwe, and it should be a wonderful affair. And as tomorrow the Tri-Series kicks off at the Harare Sports Club with the host Zimbabwe taking on the Lankans. Well, they definitely know that the Lankans have really given them a real beating in the Test series, but one-day cricket is completely different, and one thinks that Zimbabwe are better suited to the one-day version. And especially if you look at the Zimbabwe team, just doing a very brief preview here, if you look at the Zimbabwe team, I'm very happy to see that this team is looking a sort of a real aggressive unit. Now Zimbabwe, if you look at the opening combination there, Chamu Chibaba and Brian Chari. Now Brian Chari, we saw in the Test matches how aggressively he played. So that's good to see that Chamu Chibaba is a nice stroke maker too, and he can also stabilize the innings. So Brian Chari and Chamu Chibaba will open the innings. Craig Irvine is slotted at 1 drop. I think that's the right way to go, because Craig Irvine can hold the innings together. And then Hamilton Masakaja, who is in a bit of a poor form, one could say, could be the one who would be coming in at number 4, especially trying to get himself into some form, not putting pressure on him. And then Sean Williams gives the solidity to the Zimbabwe lineup. Sikandar Raza is a wonderful cricketer, wonderful one-day cricketer. And then Peter Moore, the wicket keeper, which Zimbabwe can afford now. And Peter Moore also has shown that he can play an aggressive brand of cricket, as he showed in the Test matches. So Peter Moore is the wicket keeper batsman. Graham Creamer himself always leading from the front for Zimbabwe, whether it is the bat or the ball, and we know he's a very good captain too. And then the good thing for them is that they have Tinashe Panyangra back. And Tinashe Panyangra, as he has been out of the Zimbabwe squad for quite a long time, but let me tell you, he's a wonderful bowler. He can really trouble the batsman, and not only that, he's a wicket-taking bowler, and he can also throttle the runs too. So he's going to be a good proposition. He has the company of Karl Mumba. Now Karl Mumba is one talent that Zimbabwe have unearthed. I'm sure Heat Streak has definitely looked into this, and Heat Streak is the one who probably has inducted Karl Mumba there. And Karl Mumba, as he showed in the Test matches, is a good bowler. One has to see how he goes in the one-day version of things. And then they have a spinner, Tenda Chisoro. As far as Sri Lanka are concerned, well, they are also very well equipped, there's no doubt about it. Dhananjay De Silva, as you know, he opened the innings against Australia as well, and he's a wonderful cricketer. He's a really aggressive bloke, Dhananjay De Silva. So Dhananjay De Silva will be opening with Niroshan Dikwala. So that is a sort of a change from the ordinary. Kushal Mendy Supal Tharanga, Kushal Pereira, the wicket keeper, Dasun Shanaka, Shehan Jayasuriya, Numan Kuleshekara, and I think Sri Lanka will have their task cut out. And I think it should be a very wonderful affair which is coming up tomorrow in the first match of the Toy series between Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, due to lack of time, I couldn't really speak much of the Sri Lankan team, but the Sri Lankan mix also looks to be quite formidable, and we should have a nice, even contest coming up tomorrow in the first match of the Tri Series between Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka at the Harare Sports Club. Well, dear fans and subscribers, that's about it as far as today's cricket show goes, and rest in the next. This is your host Ram signing off this on a Sunday. Thank you.